Hello friends, welcome to the book summary. In this video, we will see the detailed book summary of Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway written by Susan Jeffers. Before entering the book summary, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel. Book's link is given in the description. You can buy the book from Amazon. Let's start. Introduction. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway is a self-help book written by Susan Jeffers. The book was first published in 1987 and has since become a popular and influential work in the field of personal development. The book's central thesis is that fear is a natural part of life, and that everyone experiences fear at some point. However, fear should not prevent us from taking action towards our goals and dreams. Jeffers argues that by acknowledging and accepting our fears, we can learn to overcome them and live a more fulfilling life. Throughout the book, Jeffers emphasizes the importance of taking responsibility for our own lives and actions. She argues that we have the power to choose how we respond to challenges and that, by changing our mindset and attitude, we can overcome our fears and achieve success. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway has been praised for its practical advice, easy-to-understand language, and positive message. It has become a popular and influential work in the field of personal development, and has helped countless readers to overcome their fears and achieve their goals. Chapter 1: What are you afraid of? This chapter gives an introduction to the concept of fear and how it affects our lives. The chapter begins by acknowledging that fear is a natural and normal part of life, and that everyone experiences fear in one form or another. However, the author, Susan Jeffers, argues that fear can also hold us back and prevent us from achieving our goals and living fulfilling life. Jeffers identifies three different levels of fear: surface fears, which are the everyday fears that we experience, such as the fear of public speaking or the fear of flying; deeper fears, which are often rooted in childhood experiences and can be more difficult to identify and overcome; and the fear of not being able to handle whatever comes our way, which is the underlying fear that fuels many of our other fears. Jeffers then introduces the concept of the comfort zone, which is the place where we feel safe and familiar. She argues that while our comfort zone can provide us with a sense of security, it can also prevent us from growing and taking risks. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of recognizing and acknowledging our fears, rather than trying to ignore or suppress them. Jeffers argues that by confronting our fears and taking action towards our goals, we can learn to overcome our fears and live a more fulfilling life. Chapter 2: Can't You Make It Go Away? This chapter focuses on the different ways in which we try to cope with our fears. The chapter begins by discussing the various ways in which we may try to avoid or escape our fears, such as through distraction, denial, or procrastination. Jeffers argues that while these coping mechanisms may provide temporary relief, they do not address the root of our fears and can actually make our fears stronger in the long run. Jeffers then introduces the concept of affirmations, which are positive statements that we can repeat to ourselves in order to change our mindset and overcome our fears. She emphasizes the importance of using affirmations in a specific and personalized way, focusing on the areas where we need the most help. The chapter also discusses the role of visualization in overcoming our fears. Jeffers argues that by visualizing ourselves successfully confronting our fears, we can build confidence and reduce the intensity of our fears. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking responsibility for our own thoughts and actions. Jeffers argues that by choosing to focus on positive thoughts and taking action towards our goals, we can overcome our fears and live a more fulfilling life. Chapter 3: From Pain to Power. This chapter focuses on the relationship between fear and personal power. The chapter begins by discussing the idea that our fears can actually be a source of power, rather than weakness. Jeffers argues that by acknowledging and facing our fears, we can tap into our inner strength and resilience. The chapter then introduces the concept of the victim mentality, which is the belief that we are powerless and that our circumstances control our lives. Jeffers argues that by adopting a more empowered mindset, we can take control of our lives and overcome our fears. Jeffers also discusses the role of past experiences in shaping our fears and limiting beliefs. She argues that by examining and reframing our past experiences, we can gain a new perspective and reduce the intensity of our fears. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking action towards our goals, even in the face of fear. Jeffers argues that by taking small steps towards our goals, we can build confidence and reduce the power of our fears over time. She also emphasizes the need to be kind and compassionate towards ourselves, recognizing that overcoming our fears is a process that takes time and effort. Chapter 4: Whether you want it or not, it's yours. This chapter focuses on the idea that we are all responsible for our own lives and the choices we make. The chapter begins by discussing the common belief that external circumstances or other people are responsible for our happiness or success. Jeffers argues that while external factors can certainly impact our lives, ultimately it is our own thoughts and actions that determine our level of fulfillment. Jeffers introduces the concept of taking responsibility, which involves acknowledging that we have the power to choose our own thoughts and actions, regardless of our circumstances. She argues that by taking responsibility for our lives, we can shift from a victim mentality to an empowered mindset. The chapter also discusses the idea that our thoughts and beliefs shape our reality. Jeffers argues that by choosing to focus on positive thoughts and beliefs, we can create a more positive and fulfilling reality for ourselves. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking action towards our goals, even if we don't feel fully prepared or confident. Jeffers argues that by taking small steps and being open to learning and growth, we can build confidence and overcome our fears. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and persistent in pursuing our goals, recognizing that success often comes through perseverance and hard work. Chapter 5: Pollyanna Rides Again. This chapter focuses on the power of positive thinking. Jeffers introduces the concept of positive affirmations, which are positive statements that we can repeat to ourselves in order to change our mindset and overcome our fears. She emphasizes the importance of using affirmations in a specific and personalized way, focusing on the areas where we need the most help. The chapter also discusses the idea that we can choose our own perspective and attitude towards life. Jeffers argues that by adopting a positive and optimistic attitude, we can overcome our fears and live a more fulfilling life. Jeffers also discusses the concept of gratitude, which involves focusing on the positive aspects of our lives and being thankful for what we have. She argues that by practicing gratitude, we can shift our focus away from our fears and towards the abundance in our lives. Chapter 6: When They Don't Want You to Grow. This chapter focuses on the idea that sometimes other people may discourage us from pursuing our goals and growing as individuals. The chapter begins by discussing the concept of self-limiting beliefs, which are the beliefs we hold about ourselves that limit our potential. Jeffers argues that often these self-limiting beliefs are created or reinforced by the people around us, such as family, friends, or colleagues. Jeffers introduces the concept of positive selfishness, which involves putting our own needs and goals first in order to grow and develop as individuals. She argues that sometimes we need to prioritize our own growth, even if it means going against the wishes or expectations of others. The chapter also discusses the idea that other people may be resistant to our growth and change because it challenges their own beliefs or expectations. Jeffers argues that by staying true to ourselves and our goals, we can inspire others to grow and change as well. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking action towards our goals, even if others may not understand or support us. Jeffers argues that by staying true to ourselves and our values, we can create a more fulfilling life and inspire others to do the same. She also emphasizes the need to be persistent and resilient in pursuing our goals, recognizing that growth and change often require effort and perseverance. Chapter 7: How to Make a No-Lose Decision. This chapter focuses on the process of making decisions in a way that minimizes fear and uncertainty. The chapter begins by discussing the common fear of making the wrong decision and the belief that there is only one right choice. Jeffers argues that this mindset can lead to indecision and anxiety, and that in reality, there are often multiple options that could lead to a positive outcome. Jeffers introduces the concept of a no-lose decision, which involves reframing the decision-making process in a way that eliminates the fear of failure or making the wrong choice. She argues that by recognizing that we always have the power to learn and grow from our decisions, we can approach decision-making with more confidence and clarity. The chapter also discusses the importance of setting clear goals and priorities before making a decision. Jeffers argues that by identifying what is most important to us, we can make decisions that align with our values and lead to a more fulfilling life. Jeffers offers a step-by-step process for making no-lose decisions, which includes identifying the decision to be made, gathering information and options, clarifying priorities and values, and making the decision with a focus on learning and growth. Chapter 8: How Whole is Your Whole Life? This chapter focuses on the importance of achieving balance and fulfillment in all areas of our lives. The chapter begins by discussing the concept of a whole life, which involves balancing and integrating all areas of our lives, including work, relationships, health, and personal growth. Jeffers argues that by neglecting any one area, we may feel unfulfilled and unsatisfied. Jeffers introduces the concept of the energy pie, which involves dividing our energy and attention among the various areas of our lives. She argues that by consciously allocating our energy and attention, we can achieve a more balanced and fulfilling life. The chapter also discusses the importance of setting clear goals and priorities in each area of our lives. Jeffers argues that by identifying what is most important to us, we can make decisions and take actions that align with our values and lead to a more fulfilling life. Jeffers offers a series of exercises and questions to help readers assess the balance and fulfillment in their own lives, such as identifying areas that need more attention and setting specific goals and action steps. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking action towards achieving a whole life, even if it means making difficult choices or changing our habits and routines. Jeffers argues that by being proactive and intentional in creating a fulfilling life, we can overcome our fears and live with greater joy and satisfaction. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and persistent in pursuing a whole life, recognizing that it is a continual process of growth and learning. Chapter 9: Just Nod Your Head, Say Yes. This chapter focuses on the importance of saying yes to new opportunities and experiences, even if we feel fear or uncertainty. The chapter begins by discussing the common fear of saying yes and taking risks, and the tendency to stay within our comfort zones. Jeffers argues that by saying yes to new experiences, we can open ourselves up to growth and learning. Jeffers introduces the concept of the yes attitude, which involves adopting a mindset of openness and willingness to try new things. She argues that by cultivating a positive and proactive attitude, we can overcome our fears and achieve greater success and fulfillment. The chapter also discusses the importance of taking action towards our goals, even if we don't feel fully prepared or confident. Jeffers argues that by taking small steps and being open to learning and growth, we can build confidence and overcome our fears. Jeffers offers a series of exercises and questions to help readers adopt a yes attitude and say yes to new opportunities, such as identifying the benefits and potential outcomes of saying yes, and visualizing a successful outcome. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking action towards our goals, even if it means facing fear and uncertainty. Jeffers argues that by saying yes to new experiences, we can overcome our fears and achieve greater success and fulfillment. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and persistent in pursuing our goals, recognizing that success often comes through perseverance and hard work. Chapter 10: Choosing Love and Trust. This chapter focuses on the importance of cultivating a mindset of love and trust, both towards ourselves and others. The chapter begins by discussing the common fears and doubts that arise in relationships, such as fear of rejection or abandonment. Jeffers argues that by cultivating a mindset of love and trust, we can overcome these fears and build healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Jeffers introduces the concept of the love/trust spiral, which involves taking small actions towards building trust and love in relationships, and gradually building on these actions over time. She argues that by being intentional and consistent in our actions, we can create stronger and more meaningful connections with others. The chapter also discusses the importance of trusting ourselves and our own instincts. Jeffers argues that by listening to our intuition and being true to ourselves, we can make better decisions and live a more fulfilling life. Jeffers offers a series of exercises and questions to help readers cultivate a mindset of love and trust, such as identifying past experiences that have shaped our beliefs and behaviors in relationships, and setting specific action steps towards building trust and love in our relationships. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of choosing love and trust in all areas of our lives, recognizing that it is a continual process of growth and learning. Jeffers argues that by cultivating a positive and loving mindset, we can overcome our fears and build more fulfilling and meaningful relationships. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and compassionate towards ourselves and others, recognizing that we are all human and imperfect. Chapter 11: Filling the Inner Void. This chapter focuses on the importance of addressing and healing our inner emotional wounds in order to live a more fulfilling life. The chapter begins by discussing the common experience of feeling empty or unfulfilled, even when we have achieved external success or possessions. Jeffers argues that this emptiness often stems from unresolved emotional wounds or unmet needs from childhood or past experiences. Jeffers introduces the concept of the emotional bank account, which involves recognizing and addressing our emotional needs in order to feel more fulfilled and happy. She argues that by being aware of our emotional needs and taking intentional action towards meeting them, we can fill our emotional bank account and live a more fulfilling life. The chapter also discusses the importance of healing our emotional wounds and letting go of past hurts and resentments. Jeffers argues that by acknowledging and processing our emotions, we can release the negative energy that may be holding us back and move forward towards greater emotional freedom and fulfillment. Jeffers offers a series of exercises and questions to help readers identify and address their emotional needs, such as identifying past experiences that may be contributing to feelings of emptiness or unfulfillment, and setting specific action steps towards healing and growth. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of taking responsibility for our emotional well-being and recognizing that we have the power to change our emotional experience. Jeffers argues that by filling our emotional bank account and healing our emotional wounds, we can live a more fulfilling and joyful life. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and compassionate towards ourselves, recognizing that healing is a continual process of growth and learning. Chapter 12, There is Plenty of Time. This chapter focuses on the importance of managing our time and priorities in order to live a more fulfilling life. The chapter begins by discussing the common experience of feeling overwhelmed or stressed by the demands of daily life, such as work, family, and personal obligations. Jeffers argues that by prioritizing our time and focusing on what is truly important to us, we can create more time and space for the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. Jeffers introduces the concept of the life balance wheel, which involves identifying the key areas of our lives, such as work, relationships, health, and personal growth, and assessing our level of satisfaction and fulfillment in each area. She argues that by being intentional about how we spend our time and energy, we can create a more balanced and fulfilling life. The chapter also discusses the importance of setting goals and priorities, and being willing to let go of activities or obligations that no longer serve us. Jeffers argues that by focusing on what is truly important to us, we can create more time and space for the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. Jeffers offers a series of exercises and questions to help readers assess their life balance and prioritize their time, such as identifying their core values and setting specific action steps towards achieving their goals. The chapter concludes by emphasizing the importance of recognizing that we have the power to create the life we want, and that time is a precious and finite resource. Jeffers argues that by being intentional about how we spend our time and focusing on what is truly important to us, we can create a more fulfilling and joyful life. She also emphasizes the need to be patient and compassionate towards ourselves, recognizing that change is a gradual and ongoing process. Conclusion. The conclusion of Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway emphasizes the importance of taking action in the face of fear, and of making the most of our lives by taking risks and pursuing our dreams. Jeffers reminds readers that fear is a natural and normal part of the human experience, and that it is not something to be avoided or suppressed. She encourages readers to adopt a mindset of courage and self-empowerment, and to take responsibility for their own lives and choices. She also emphasizes the importance of cultivating a positive attitude and surrounding ourselves with supportive and positive people. The conclusion offers a final set of affirmations and exercises to help readers continue to overcome their fears and live a more fulfilling life. Overall, the book encourages readers to recognize their own power and potential, and to embrace the challenges and opportunities that life presents. It is a powerful and practical guide for anyone seeking to live a more courageous and fulfilling life. Jeffers concludes the book with 5 truths about fear. Truth 1, the fear will never go away so long as you continue to grow. Truth 2, the only way to get rid of the fear of doing something is to go out and do it. Truth 3, the only way to feel better about yourself is to go out and do it. Truth 4, not only are you afraid when facing the unknown, so is everyone else. Truth 5, pushing through fear is less frightening than living with the bigger underlying fear that comes from a feeling of helplessness. Book's link is given in the description. You can buy the book from Amazon. Thank you for watching. The Financial Freedom is the book written by me. In this book, I explained the pillars of personal finance and step-by-step guide to achieve the financial freedom. In this book, I have explained how rich get richer and poor get poorer with examples. Also, I have explained how much money required to achieve financial freedom using 4% rule. This book's link is given in the description. You can buy the book using that link.